A Disney movie directed by Steven Spielberg? Oh yeah, I'm definitely down for that. Hey everybody, this is 22 Tiger Dude here, and I'm here to review the BFG, which stands for The Big Friendly Giant. So the BFG stars Mark Rylance and Ruby Barnhill, and the film is about when Sophie, this little orphan, she gets taken by the BFG after she breaks rules like don't look through the window at night. So she gets taken by the BFG. But then later on, she finds out that the BFG is actually a good soul. He's a very, friendly giant. So the BFG and Sophie, they become very good friends and they go on this journey together. And I was definitely interested in this film. I saw the trailers. I went, yeah, I'm interested. So I wanted to see how this would turn out, but what definitely raised my interest level is the fact that Steven Spielberg is directing a Disney movie. I was just hoping this would be a magical, charming movie, and after I saw the BFG, was it magical? Sometimes. Was it charming? Sometimes. But was it disappointing? Oh, hell yes. Now, I know the BFG is getting good reviews, and personally, I can see why. I can see why it's getting good reviews. I can see why people like it. But unfortunately for me, this might be an unpopular opinion. It probably is an unpopular opinion, but I just didn't really care for the BFG. It really just didn't quite deliver the magic. It does deliver the magic and charm in some scenes, but ultimately, it's a forgettable film. Visually, the BFG looks magnificent. Not a single scene, in my opinion at least, really looked noticeable. Every single scene that had visual effects in the BFG were just breathtaking. This is definitely a visual treat, and it's worth seeing the BFG in theaters just for the visuals alone. Mark Rylance really did a great job with the motion capture of the BFG. He was the perfect casting choice to play the BFG. He had the charm for the BFG. He captured that magical personality that the BFG is known for, and I just thought he provided so much charm to the character. And I think when it comes to him and Sophie, which I'm going to get to right now, played by Ruby Barnhill, he definitely added the charm into this movie. I thought Sophie, played by Ruby Barnhill, also added a ton of charm. And these two characters were definitely the best things as far as characters go. These are the characters that definitely added some of the charm and some of the magic to the BFG. As much as I wanted more of this film to have more of that magic and charm, but it's thanks to them that some scenes of this movie do have that magic and charm and do have some of that Steven Spielberg greatness that shows why Steven Spielberg is a talented director. Other motion capture like Jemaine Clement. Jemaine Clement is actually the leader of all of these giants. He's the bad giant. The giant's name is Flesh Lump Eater, and I thought he really portrayed that character well. There's also other motion captures from other talents that did a really good job. I thought the giants, all of them, the BFG and the bad giants, they look visually great, and all of the motion capture and all of the voice talents behind it were really impressive. And that's really expected because Steven Spielberg really knows how to work with his actors, and that's no different with the BFG. Speaking of Steven Spielberg, who I have been mentioning a few times during this review, I do think he did a really good job directing this film. I feel like in terms of direction, the movie was always very solid. Even despite the storyline, I felt like he did a very good job of moving it at a very nice level with his camera work. He has some beautiful camera work with this film. Cinematography, which really adds a lot to the visual effects in this film, looks so beautiful. John Williams' score, mwah, that's all I gotta say, because it is fantastic. This is seriously one of the best scores that John Williams has done in quite some time. And that's not really saying much because he always does really great scores, but the score in the BFG is seriously amazing. In fact, the thing I'm going to remember from the BFG is definitely the score. That's something I'm never ever going to forget because it just has that classic John Williams feel, and the score is also what adds some of that magic in the BFG. Like I said, I did feel like some moments in the BFG were really sweet. There were some moments that were cute, some moments that had the heart, some moments that had that Steven Spielberg greatness. There's a scene with the Queen in this film that I actually thought was very enjoyable. I'm going to say that the scene with the Queen was definitely the funniest scene in the BFG because the humor that was incorporated into that scene was very funny, especially a fart joke. Yes, now when you hear fart joke, you could be going, wait, what? And there is a couple of that towards the beginning, but it actually didn't work for me. I just thought the fart jokes were whatever, but somehow the fart joke, when we get to the Queen scene, was very funny. I was actually laughing very hard at that. The Queen scene in general just had a lot of funny moments, and that's really, as far as scenes go, that probably is the most memorable moment. But with all the good that this film has, there's also the problems, and one of my problems, in fact, my biggest problem for sure with the BFG is how tedious it gets. This movie moves like a snail. I was surprised how boring the BFG was. First of all, the movie starts out very roughly. Like already from the beginning, the movie really wasn't catching my attention. I'm even watching this movie going, man, the visuals are amazing. The performances are great, particularly with Sophie and Mark Rylance as the BFG. But besides that, I really was not getting invested in this world. And besides the pacing, that is the next problem I had with this film. The storyline. I can't believe how unengaging the storyline is, in my opinion. There wasn't really a whole lot to Sophie and the BFG's adventure. There's some scenes sprinkled into this film where I did get that magic and wonder, but for the most part, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was bored. There's even a few moments in this film where I almost fell asleep. What? I actually had a hard time staying awake. It does get a little better in the third act, but even the third act, I really felt like the movie was rushed because after what happens, there's a little something that happens in the film that you can see coming. And besides the Queen scene, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really laugh during this film. I may have gotten a couple of chuckles before the Queen scene, but that's really about it. I felt like the humor really fell flat for the majority of the movie. It's also a very jumpy movie. I felt like the movie just jumps from one scene to another scene to another scene. I don't want to really spoil it, but the movie opens with Sophie, of course, in her orphan home. The BFG takes her, as well as other scenes that's just jumping one by one by one, like the one with the bad giants and this scene that involved trucks. That's all I'm going to say, but I felt like the movie was jumping everywhere at once. And like I said, there's really little to no adventure. I thought we were going to get something really magical, and the movie, all it felt like to me was just the big giants coming over to intimidate the BFG. Sophie has to hide from these bad giants. That's all it felt like the majority of the film had to me. Yeah, it may have some scenes where the BFG and Sophie do something together, but for the majority of the movie, that's all it felt like to me. Overall, the BFG does have some magical and charming moments. Mark Rylance and Ruby Barnhill were great protagonists, but unfortunately, the majority of the movie is not so magical, it's not so charming, it just gets very dull to watch. So I gotta say, I know the BFG's getting good reviews and all, but I personally just didn't care for this movie, and that really bums me out because I want to like it, and It was just okay. It's not a bad movie. It's just okay. I'm not going to remember it, unfortunately. So, I'm going to have to give the BFG 2 out of 4 stars. So you guys, in the comments down below, let me know what you think about the BFG. And have you ever read the book, the BFG? This is 22 Tiger Dude here, and don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power!